Shalom, Yasha Allah Shalom. This the house right here that demon, Madame Lalaurie was torturing our people at. You're torturing Jake. And they put it in the TV show called American Horror Story. So this the actual house right here. They renovated it. You know what I'm saying? They renovated it and put it together. Damn, brother, nose is all outdoors. They love to see you recording, but when you ask them a question, they don't want to talk. But anyway, this the actual house right here in the 1800s. That demon, that Edomite. And this 1140 Royal Street right here on the corner. You know, and that's where she was at, torturing Jake. And they put it in that TV show, American Horror Story. The American Horror Story have plenty of seasons, so I think it's the third season. It's called The Coven. And they show some of the stuff. They show some of the stuff she was doing to Jake in that, you heard me? Like cutting Jake open. No anesthesia, no nothing, just cutting him open, replacing body parts. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, torturing Jake in that, man. Cutting Jake lips off. Go look it up. Madame Lalaurie. You heard me? Look it up. And ask ChatGPT. Google it. That's what these Edomites capable of, torturing and treating our people in an inhumane way. You know what I'm saying? Basically, destroying our people. And now they talking about love, love, love. Where the love at? Where the love? Well, why you wasn't saying that back then, though? The love, 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 you heard me? Why y'all wasn't saying that back then? You know, so now it's, oh, where's your love? Where's the love? You know, you people should get along. What Jesus said. Why they wasn't saying that same shit? No, keep the same energy, man. Because, you know, they know they have but a short time, and the road's about to be reversed. Now, we're about to treat you inhumanely. You heard me? But it's going to be righteous, though. It's going to be righteousness, though. Righteousness. Righteous revenge. What I'm going to call this video, Righteous Revenge. And it's, you know, there was an Israelite girl who got tired of treating, who was tired of the beatings, the whippings, the cuttings, and tired of being in captivity. So she set a fire in the house, and this is how they learned of it. You know, go look it up. Go see the history. This really happened down here in New Orleans. You heard me? And she started a fire. I think it was in 1850, 1840, 1818, one of them. She started the fire and tried to, she tried to delete herself because she was tired of suffering under this devil, man. You know? No, you know, because the television show only show half of the stuff. They don't show everything. All right? But if you ever in New Orleans, you go to that street right there, they do tours and stuff there too. And you know, they probably don't tell you everything that she did to our people because that's their people. They're gonna try to make themselves look like it ain't a big thing, you hear me? But it is. And everything they did to us, we're gonna do it back to them. But now we ain't gonna be doing no wicked shit like buck breaking men. You know what I'm saying? But shalom.
There was one situation where one of the enslaved people had their bones broken and then reconfigured to that of a crab, so the person looked like a human crab. Madame Lalaurie was a very infamous slave owner who was known for torturing the enslaved Foundation of Black Americans right in this very mansion. She was known to chain some of the enslaved people to stoves and starve them for weeks on end. She would keep enslaved people in cages and do all of these crude experiments on them. This woman also conducted crude sex change operations on the enslaved Foundation of Black Americans here. Her torturous ways became so brutal. There was a very young black girl who was enslaved in this mansion. She tried to escape Madame Lalaurie, and this little girl jumped out of that top window behind us and killed herself.
You know, the first serial killer in America is a white woman who killed slaves. And she killed a whole bunch of them. Then they caught her. Yeah, they caught her because of fire.
Well, it wasn't serial killing then. I mean, they were slaves. It didn't matter.
Oh God.
I mean, that dude may have got mad because you killed one. Who's gonna pick up all that stuff now? Like,
Oh no. Yes, but no, she had people chained to the walls in her crib. She just cut a butt cheek off, cut a piece of your face off, pull your intestines out and tie them up.
Where the hell did you see this at?
They mentioned her in American Horror Story. It's like something
And she
Delphine.
did this in the States?
New Orleans. And she got caught. She got caught and she got away, went to France and got married.
LaLaurie Mansion House of Horrors Part 2. Supposedly, body parts, organs, and heads were scattered across the room, many of which were disfigured and completely unrecognizable. In one claim, a man had feces shoved into his mouth and then his mouth was sewn shut, and in another, a woman's bones were broken and reconfigured to look like a crab. Now, while some of these details may have been exaggerated, one thing remains clear. Whatever that group of individuals found was so horrible and so atrocious that a mob of 4,000 people set out to LaLaurie's home and completely destroyed the property. Apparently, investigators found multiple bodies buried on the property that belonged to murdered slaves, including the body of 12-year-old Leah. LaLaurie and her husband fled to France, but nobody really knows what happened after. In 1964, this placard was found in Louisiana, and people started to speculate that she may have passed away in 1842. But people theorized that this may have been a hoax, and she may have passed away in Paris in 1849 instead. But no one really knows what happened to her, and sadly, no charges were ever brought against her for her crimes. Even the number of her victims remains a mystery, and some speculate that it ranges from 10 to 100 slaves. Now, as evil as LaLaurie was, and she was evil, some people don't actually believe that she was unique in her mistreatment of slaves at all. And one of the saddest aspects of the story, besides slaves in general, is the fact that she may not have been the only one to treat her slaves this badly. She just happened to get caught. Rumor has it that she was never this evil until she met her third husband, Dr. Leonard LaLaurie. It's rumored that he may have conducted experimental medical practices on his slaves which could have influenced LaLaurie in her abuse and mistreatment. Allegedly, LaLaurie, her husband, and their butler would routinely partake in the mistreatment of their slaves. But interestingly enough, in November of 1832, LaLaurie petitioned the court for separation from her third husband, alleging that he was mistreating her and it made living together uncomfortable. However, at the time of the fire 2 years later, they were still living together and even ran away to Europe together. So, regardless of the inspiration behind LaLaurie's actions, the horrific nature of what happened here leads people to believe that the house that still stands in this place is now haunted. The house went through a couple different phases after it was burned down, and it was once a homeless shelter and an all-girls school. People have reported hearing screams and moaning coming from the torture room upstairs, along with the sound of chains dragging and footsteps that echo throughout the house. Doors slam, furniture moves on its own, and people still claim to feel the energy of the young girl that passed away there. People have also reported being scratched and pulled by a female spirit that may be the spirit of LaLaurie herself. The house that stands there today is currently privately owned, but believe it or not, at one point belonged to Nicolas Cage. Apparently, he was supposed to give him inspiration to write a horror novel, but that never happened, and he had to foreclose in 2009 due to financial difficulties. However, the sidewalk is still open to the public, and many people visit the house each year, either on their own or during ghost tours. The LaLaurie Mansion is one of the most popular attractions in New Orleans and one of the most haunted houses in the United States. So what do you think about this piece of haunted history? Would you ever visit if you knew about the murders and mutilation that took place there? Comment down below and follow me for more.